From an investor's point of view, equity is more risky but potentially offers higher returns. Debt is less risky because it's secured, but it generally offers lower returns, and that's the trade-off between the two. Interestingly, what most investors seem to be interested in is the higher return stuff. That's just the perception that I have. But also I think there's another angle on this from a developer's point of view. I don't see a lot of point in crowdfunding debt because, at least not debt for property development projects, because there are many, many development lenders out there who will lend on development projects at much more competitive rates than people are prepared to put their money into an investment for. So from a developer's perspective, the only form of finance that I see any point in crowdfunding is equity. Now, for me, equity changes the game in terms of, or crowdfunding changes the game for equity. The historical way of raising equity for property development projects was that you would work with either high net worth individuals or private equity funds or family offices, and you would end up in a situation where you would either take the terms that that investor offered to you or you wouldn't. And so it put the investor in quite a strong position in terms of dictating terms to developers. With crowdfunding, what a developer is able to do is to put an offer together, offer that to investors, and investors can decide whether or not they want to invest in that offer. And so it means that developers can decide the terms on which they wish to offer investment in their projects. But it also works well for investors because smaller investors would not otherwise get access to the returns offered by large-scale property development projects. So in that sense, it's a win-win for investors and developers. And as Mike said earlier on, I think this strategy of diversification across different developers and different projects is something that is important. I think that's a basic for any investment strategy. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. And so what I see a lot with my equity raises is I see the same investors coming into all of my raises with smallish amounts of money, between £1,000 and £5,000. And so they consistently invest in all my projects. I'm very comfortable with that because I know that those investors are not deploying all of their resources into a single project, and so they've got a spread of risk across different projects. That makes them more comfortable.
So I guess the other thing that crowdfunding is doing is opening up to the masses, to everybody, the ability to invest in developments that was down to, essentially open just to high net worths or family offices or institutions.
The barrier to entry.
And now it's opened up to the more of the general public.
It's democratising.
It is.
Finance, and it's democratising the returns that were only previously available to above a certain level of wealth.